Dear everyone, welcome again to the discussion table hosted by M2 Advisory with my guest Cornelia Zegiel and Marleen Samaharjo from M2 Advisory. So we're having discussions around our field of expertise with business executives and business owner. And Cornelia is the founder of Master4Business, and that is focusing on leadership, communication, and finance. And today we have a vibrant discussion about the topic that we see around us, what is happening with prices are going up, and how do we maintain and still be profitable within a certain period. And so it's I think from that element, it will be a very vibrant discussion, as I already mentioned. But what is your vision about this, Cornelia?
Thank you, Marleen. It's another good table, another good subject which we are going to discuss. So hope our audience is going to benefit and get the value from our expertise. Well, it's $1 million question, Marleen. I mean, this is what majority of companies seen already, and the question is how to react. We see the electronic devices, the energy, the materials, basically. They are having direct impact into our prices, for sure. Now the discussion is how to react, and like I said, it's $1 million question, but let's maybe share with our audience how we are going to see from the scenario perspective. That would be maybe easier, I would say, to reflect and give them the perspective and what are the consequences choosing this.
Very good that you mentioned it, because I would like to say, if you have your strategy, for example, taken into place, you can either have 3 decisions that you can make within your strategy. So the strategy should be whether you maintain the situation and you can just survive actually, or go through, or have enough capital to maintain the situation, or you should invest in another situation, or innovate accordingly. And the third one should be whether you can ask for your infrastructure or your people and your processes that they can deliver and help you go through towards working in a more feasible environment for everyone, just to see how we can manage this. And the strategy should be focused on profitability, focus on sustainability, focus on longevity. So that should be the outcome of your strategic points and your strategic goals and decision making that you should cater for. 3 scenarios that I described from here, are those the 3 elements and scenarios that you can also relate to?
Absolutely, absolutely. Those are the key ones, touching upon 3 different elements and how you will resonate and you will position your company and what is closer to your overall strategy. So let's maybe start with the first one, like you mentioned, from the long perspective. So if the prices are going up, the question would be, can we absorb that in the sense of profitability perspective? If your company is having pretty healthy margin, then you can think about it if you can absorb that one, sacrificing your margin for a certain period of time. Because once you start touching prices, because obviously if your costs are going up, you are not touching the prices, the margin is going down. So if you have a good margin base, then you can think about it if it's making sense to sustain that cost increases for a certain period of time. Once they get back to the normal level, then you can start playing with the prices. So if the companies are having the good margin, then it's making sense, I would say. But another discussion would be preparing your clients already for the price increases, because whenever you will buy the time maintaining lower margin or having a little bit lower margin, at the same time you can prepare your clients for the discussion of price increases. But of course, this is something which you could do. You cannot influence your competitors, but competition is going to also react more or less in the same way. And like I said, the better price, the better margin you have, then you can survive longer, keeping your prices at the same level where your competitors could be playing already with price increases. So it's already positioning you in a better situation in the market. So
That's
that,
about true.
yeah.
That's a powerful strategy. I think from a longevity perspective, this is the most powerful strategy that you can maintain, because it is all when you start, when you start evolving and you start growing. It's very important that it's a very clear strategic alliance with your with servicing, what are you providing, and what is the margin that you're taking here. And if you created that within a very stable one, then the impact will be less when this occur. But when you have and constantly reacting to the market, it's very difficult to go back and aligning your strategic goals in this with your financial results, that you still have the margins that you can profit from. So that is a very powerful first strategy to maintain. And I think we had it as the first one, and going down, taking if that's not a possibility, then we think, and I would advocate in this, then innovation would be a next one. Obviously, you need to invest, but still, if you would look at your processes in a more efficient way, that can also save you money. That can also be very effective, and that can also be allocated to other products that you can also sell for another price. So there you're working with two strategies within one. But the strategy as such, innovation and investments, I would love to hear your thoughts about that.
Yes, Marlene, that innovation, you can look in two angles in terms of innovation. So the first one, what you could do, we call this innovation, because innovation is doing the things faster and smarter, and which are having better results on your client side, and also results internally. So I would like to differentiate these elements into two aspects: the innovation inside the company. If you're talking about the finance, money is a key. So first of all, I would see, do you see any elements in your payments process, in your accounts payable, accounts receivable, which you can stream it to get faster and quicker the cash in your bank account. Once you have a cash in the bank account, then we can move to the other elements, which is more related to the external factor as the innovation for our clients. There is a lot of big spectrum. That impact which we could create, it could also come from the way how we are doing the things services wise and the product wise, not necessarily financial wise, like we just mentioned, having that money, but also looking on the how we operate inside the company. And this should be constant discussion with the client, because I'm always saying that the best marketing manager is our client. So our client is already giving us the pain points, what he's seeking, what he's looking for. So we can take these notes and think about it, how we can improve internally. And sometimes, and quite often, I don't want to say about the black belts and all these strategies which you might have, as a knowledge, but sit with the team and as an owner, look holistically what you can improve. What are the main points which might directly have a benefit to your client, not necessarily touching your R&D department, because this is something which is a long time and costly as well. So I would tackle innovation in a scale of finance, getting the cash, improving your cash flow. This is one element. Second layer would be looking on the organization, what your clients could benefit, and if you could implement those organizational changes processes wise to your client. And the third one will be also how that assessment is corresponding to really investing, putting the new product, new services, be more digitalized, because this is all discussion right now. So that will be the third strategy regarding the price increases, and be innovative and offering more. And who knows, maybe that will be the new product and services which will be offering through the innovation, covering the price increases.
Yeah, beautiful. I really love that. And you touched upon the cash flow element in this, and that is what I mean. But with her investing in this, if you have cash flow available, you can invest either, whether what you said, it's your real hardcore R&D or in this, or look at it from an internal point of view. And from an internal point of view, I would really love to focus on also you mentioned this, the time to pay, so your accounts payable, your accounts receivable, because that is money that you're financing up front. So if you shorten the periods within that, you can also create more flexibility within. And that is just making clear decisions, and also discussing this with your customers, and making other agreements around payments in this, and shorten the period so that you have easily and faster cash flow available. I really love that, especially have written that in my book. So that is a topic that I really would love to advocate. And then going to the third element in this, and I think it's a very important one, because we're working in an environment with people. And if the situation is that we're encountering hardship, we're going through a hard time, and ask our people to think with us, to work with us, to the most loyal people, can we ask them whether they can think about either if they don't have their bonuses paid out or things like that? Is that from a strategic point of view, is that something that we can ask from our people, from our human capital in this? Because when when we're losing that, we're losing very valuable knowledge and skills. So if we're holding them longer in the period that we are encountering hardship, can we ask them if they can deliver also and work with us, so that at the end we can reward them again? What is your opinion in this?
Absolutely, I would say yes. We should do that. We should do that, and especially because behind every service, behind every product, there's a people who are delivering that. Yeah. So this is the organization itself. So if it's coming to the increases, then the decision is what we do and what we could do in terms of cutting. So I'm not big fan of this is at the end, which is coming to the cutting, but what we can do in between, also in a short term period of time, instead of laying, asking in terms of negotiation. This was very common approach as well in one of the companies which I was working. The management came with the decision, look guys, we are having two offers for you. One of them is just say goodbye to you because we cannot afford, and the second option is reduce the salary for certain period of time. And of course this should be accordingly, proportionally, not only the mid-level but also from the top management level, so everybody are on board and supporting the organization. And of course, Marlene, in that process that will be like a microscope to see how loyal people you have in your organization, because the real values will pop up in the staff decision. The same like in a relationship. Look, if the family is having, let's say, crisis, so then it's obvious we need to resign from certain type of expenses. And there is like a common decision. Are we going to move, let's say, to the smaller house because we cannot pay the mortgage, or even sell our expensive car and maybe buy cheaper one? Same approach, same mindset should be applicable if we're talking about the Salesforce, our resources, our team. So have an open discussion with them. And like I said, there's another communication element, which I'm also teaching about, transparency. Because in that moment, we are talking about the crisis. This is basically dealing with the crisis and difficult situation in the organization. So we should be transparent, saying, okay, guys, if we don't make a decision, we are going towards, let's say, bankruptcy. Or another thing is we can start laying off. Or the option, which is more human, I would say, and more supporting each other, is reducing the salaries. And of course, you can see if the bonus needs to be reduced as well. But the crises, they are not staying forever. There needs to be plan B, there needs to be recovery. And of course, the management needs to also give them the rewards after that loyal decision. So that would be the option B, I would say, or even A, in that sense. Instead of cutting names, just have an open discussion with them, reducing the annual salaries, and and go together with this type of crisis. And of course, having very solid plan to going towards crisis, because this is like I said, it should be short-term solution, not a permanent one, Once the income and the revenue is getting there, we are getting to the level where we used to be, of course, it should be paid back to our loyal people. Yeah.
Totally agree. I really love how we give body to this discussion in this, which is not an easy topic, I think. It's you mentioned the family situation in this, that is very relatable to everyone. Everyone would understand it from that point of view, and it's give and take in this, and it's a very hard decision. But I think from a perspective that you're managing on your people, you're managing on your on the results, taking from those two perspective, this is the only way that you can ask whether you can give and take, and at the end, when rewards comes there, really reward your people, because it is not something that people easily make and decide whether they stay with you and give their selves in this, and still continue to work to a goal that probably is not even theirs, but you need to take them to this and guide them in this decision. So if I would summarize this whole discussion table where we thought and we discussed and we're seeing this around, and hopefully this will not be something that we will need to implement, but at the same point, I think it's very important to see and tell people that they should be very aware that now is the time that your profitability is going to make a huge hit with regards to the pricing and everything that's going up in this period. So what are your decisions? What are you going to do from a strategic point of view? Are you saying staying to or did you have the financial viability to create an environment that your financial markets are that easily to apply and to just maintain for a longer period, or do you need to innovate, and not even innovate from the innovation perspective that your R&D should work, but just taking things back to your cost, looking how you can re-engineer your processes, that you have an efficient process and that you're not losing money. And then also from the financial point of view, and creating more cash flow, or easier and quicker cash flow, let me put it like that, having discussions with your customers about their agreements, about the payment agreements, that you're shortening the period in this makes you more less vulnerable and provides more cash flow for you. And the last one is what we already had, that should be really your last resource in this, as the scenario 3 that we indicated, but a very important one, because it's very needed. You need your people, you need you need capital, you need the skills, you need their knowledge, and it's a very difficult decision that you say either I'm letting them go like in a soft launch, or in a soft manner, or very hard. And I don't think it should be both. It should be an in-between intermediate situation, because there's still a redemption time for now. And in this period, have a clear look at it. What is your strategic goals, and what is your finance? How is your finance responding to that? That is what we wanted to discuss today with you in our discussion table. If there's anything else that you would like to give our audience, please mention this, Cornelia.
I don't have anything, Marlene, to add. And like I said, very important is to make such an assessment, and knowing where your company is standing for, you will more or less know which direction to go. And there is no perfect solution for any situation. Most likely, we know it, Marlene, you are in the consultancy many years, so it's most likely like a hybrid model. It should be few different elements steering, going towards the results which we want. And this is the responsibility. It's not easy job for the whole management point of view, to steering the company towards the success, even if you have obstacles, even if you have challenges like pandemic, price increases, and who knows what else it will come. So this is the reality, and we cannot close the eyes and saying no, it's not there, we will survive. No, we need to really look forward with the mature way, and be able to take a most approachable decision for the best of our employees, and for the best way of the company's strategy going forward. Yeah.
Beautifully said. I really think it's all about just the combination of your rationale and your intuition in this, having your strategy in place, knowing what is ahead and your plan, and going the way forward, and from your intuition point of view, what is needed, how is the macroeconomic situation impacting my microeconomic environment, and how does that cascade within my people. So really taking this from a strategic point of view, and taking responsibility, but also the responsibility for your people in this, and the environment. So really love that. If you love this, please follow us on YouTube, on our YouTube channels. You can find us on Cornelia Zegiel and M2 Advisory, and we really look forward to see you next week or somewhere again. Thank you for